for the 8th and final time this season, the Battle of I-94 comes to McMorran Place. Good evening, everybody. Will Wiggleman here with you on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. Well, these two teams have played 14 times so far, 7 wins apiece, including 1 win beyond regulation apiece. It's about as even of a series as you can get, and they'll face off for the final 2 times this weekend, starting tonight at McMorran Place. We'll have much more on the pregame show coming up next. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers Hockey on the Prowlers YouTube channel.
Adventures await you at the award-winning DoubleTree by Hilton Port Huron. Experience the breathtaking view of sailboats and freighters, framed against the background of the impressive Blue Water Bridge, all from the comfort of your elegant guest room balcony. Planning a wedding? The DoubleTree by Hilton has the perfect setting to celebrate a marriage with its wonderful landscaping and beautiful reception area. So whether it's a romantic getaway, a family vacation, or a company outing, sweeten it with a view to remember at the DoubleTree by Hilton, Port Huron.
Back here at McMorran Place, we're just minutes away from opening puck drop between the Prowlers and the Motor City Rockers. As we mentioned in the open, this is the 15th meeting between these two teams this season, and we'll have much more on that coming up later in the broadcast. But 7 wins apiece, including 1 beyond regulation apiece. It's been a great series so far this regular season. The inaugural Battle of I-94, as tight as you could want. Some great games between these two teams. Looking for another 2 great games this weekend. Well, let's take a look back at last weekend for these two teams. We start with the Rockers. They swept the Binghamton Black Bears at home, winning the second game of that series 8-4 in a game they got outshot 53-31 by Binghamton, but Trevor Babin was fantastic in that game, making 49 saves for the Rockers, and the offense led by Scott Koash with a goal and 5 assists in that game really took over for Motor City. They were able to get past Binghamton, and the Rockers on a league-high 4-game winning streak. That's the longest current active winning streak in the FBHL. We switch over to the Prowlers side of things, and they earned a split with the Watertown Wolves last weekend with a 3-1 victory in the second game. It was Frank Schumacher with a pair of goals, and that was Sam Gagnon scored the game winner. Wyatt Hoplin with a 28 save performance. He had a couple of good games against Watertown last weekend, and he made 28 saves, was the 3rd star of the game in that one. As I mentioned, Frank Schumacher with a couple of goals in that victory. That goes along with the 2 assists he put up in the loss in the first game of that series with the Watertown Wolves. So 4 points for Schumacher that weekend. He was the first star on Saturday night's game, and he moved up from 10 points to 14 points on the season, and also scoring his 4th and 5th goals of the season. Well, let's take a look at what this means in the Continental Division standings. As we already know, all 4 playoff teams have clinched their spots, and the Columbus River Dragons have a 7-point lead on Carolina right now for the top spot in the division. Meanwhile, Motor City also with a 7-point lead on the Port Huron Prowlers for 3rd place in the division. Columbus is in Watertown tonight. Carolina is hosting Mississippi. And of course, the Prowlers and Rockers playing here tonight at McMorran Place. Still plenty of time for all 4 teams to flip-flop, whether it's the 1 and 2 or the 3 and 4, but I don't think either of the Michigan teams have the possibility of getting a home ice advantage in the first round of the playoffs, but certainly they will have the opportunity to flip-flop depending on how this series goes. the Prowlers are able to sweep and win 2 games in regulation, all of a sudden they'll just be 1 point back of the Rockers. Well, a couple of new signings this week for the Prowlers, and we start with Ian Wallace returning to Port Huron. He was traded to the Mississippi Seawolves back in November after making 1 start. It was on November 5th against these Motor City Rockers, an overtime loss, but he's bounced around the league a little bit, played in Binghamton, was rostered in Elmira as well, but finds his way back here in Port Huron after he was released. So Ian Wallace is back in the fold for the Prowlers for the foreseeable future. A couple of players are going to be making their FPHL and Pro Hockey debuts tonight as Braden Aubin and Steven Jacobs get into the lineup for the first time. Jacobs, a teammate of Ian Wallace's at Franklin Pierce University last season, in the last couple of years, also a teammate of Sam Gagnon there, and also knew Gagnon when Gagnon coached him a little bit at Franklin Pierce. Jacobs was an NE10 All-Conference First Team member for the 2022-23 season, leading Ravens defenseman in goals with 6, assists with 15, and points with 21. Meanwhile, Aubin out of Norwich University also played junior hockey in the OJHL with the Markham Royals with Sam Merritt, and also won a SIJHL championship with the Dryden Ice Dogs before going to college, along with Sam Merritt. But he spent the last 4 years at Norwich University, 4 points in 24 games this season as he led his team to the NCAA quarterfinals, where they eventually lost. But playing in the toughest conference in NCAA Division III hockey for Norwich University, Braden Aubin will be the top line center tonight, as he'll go between Matt Graham and Joe Devaney. Those are your starting forwards for the Prowlers tonight. Sam Merritt's line stays the same with Tori McLean and Matt Stoya, and Dan Chartrand slots back into the lineup after being scratched the last 2 games. He'll play alongside Evan Foley and Dalton Jay. A little bit of shaking up on the defensive side as Jacobs slots in alongside Frank Schumacher. Alex Johnson and Gino Mini play together again. They've played together earlier in the season, but Mini and Adam Hainsel have been together as of late, and Johnson with Schumacher as of late. Adam Hainsel gets back together with Dustin Henning, and Brian Parsons also in the mix tonight for the Prowlers. Brian Tollew gets the start for Port Huron tonight, his second career start. You don't see Wyatt Hofflin's name on there, as Hofflin is out tonight, not feeling at 100%. He looked a little bit uncomfortable at times in the crease last weekend, despite how admirably he played, and he gets a well-deserved night off. So we're getting set for puck drop on the 15th edition of the Battle of I-94, and the 8th time here at McMorran Place. We will take you down to ice level for the rest of the pregame ceremonies.
Sponsored by Duraclean by Mike Batchelor. We remind all members of the armed forces and veterans who are present, but not in uniform, that you may render the military salute. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a special welcome to Sarah Dent. Officials for tonight's game, referees Steve Galley and Jim Scarface, and linesman Dallas Mitchell.
Representatives from the Veterans Affairs Office doing the ceremonial puck drop. Before we get set for the real puck drop, quick look at our goaltending matchup tonight. We mentioned Brian Tollew making his second start for the Prowlers. He'll go up against Blake Scott, who has a shutout in this building from earlier this season. He'll be in the crease, 2 hour left, and we are underway here at McMorran Place. In case you missed the pregame show, it's Braden Aubin in his first career pro game, centering the top line with Joe Devaney and Matt Graham. Here is Devaney trying to get it on the backhand, couldn't push it towards the net. He knocks his man down, but the Rockers get it out. Bounced right to Tollew, and he'll cover up for our first whistle, 27 seconds into period number 1. We saw Aubin take his first shift at the pro level, and now we see Steven Jacobs out there wearing number 6, lined up on the near side boards in his first shift as a pro, as Tollew steers that one to the corner. Here's Declan Conway, goes over to Nick McGill-Diaz, knocked off his stick. And now the whistle's blown, not sure exactly what it was, maybe a hand pass or something along those lines. We'll see where they place the face-off. It will be just outside the Prowler zone, so possible maybe it was offsides call. You see Dan Chartrand lined up on the near side, scratched both games last weekend against Watertown. He's back in the lineup, playing alongside Evan Foley, who has the puck now, and Dalton Jay, the Prowlers' leading scorer. Conway tried to go back across, comes to Scott Kowash, the leading scorer for the Motor City Rockers. Icing waved off as Jacobs Tries to take Conway into the boards. Cycles down to Inger. Now up high, McGill Diaz. Wraps it all the way back around this side. Jamison Milam first on it. Had an overtime goal last weekend against Binghamton in the Friday game. Inger catches up to that puck. From the outside, he tests Tallyu, who knocks it down. Merritt trying to go up the boards. Now Jay has it, poked off his stick, and Tommy Cardinal keeps the pressure on. Fed it out in front, and the Prowlers all over that one as Danny Vanderweel was cutting down. And Brian Parsons sends it right in on Scott. Approaching 2 minutes gone in period number 1. There's Vanderweel. Crossing through center. Gets in. Taken by Ryder. That one came right out to the crease, and then Vanderweel put it back on net, and Tallyu just able to get the glove out to make the save. That puck was bouncing around down low. Nobody could get control of it, and it popped out right to Vanderweel, who was coming out from behind the net. He thought he had open cage, and Tallyu reached out the glove and robbed him. 17:51 to go in period number 1. The Prowlers win a defensive zone faceoff. Lambden takes it back at center. Cade Lambden had his shot blocked by Johnson. Prowlers looking to turn up the other way. Here's Albin. Wrists it on, knocked down by Scott, the rebound there, and Albin and Devaney ran into each other. Joe Devaney a little bit slow to get up. Johnson sends it right back in, almost hit Devaney. And now Ryan Rotundi, who's been on and off this Motor City roster, signed back on March 9th after being released on February 18th. That's his most recent stretch off of the roster. He's played 2 games since signing back on the 9th. 26 so far this season for the Port Huron, Michigan native Ryan Rotundi. Koash and Foley in the face-off circle. Schumacher pokes it along. Colton pinches in, trying to keep the puck deep. Chartrand will try the other side. Pops out to Sufferdini. Long-range try. Stopped by Tallyu, and he'll cover the rebound. With a couple of ticks under 17 minutes to go in period number 1. No score yet. The Rockers have had much of the pressure to start this game. Face-off tied up there. It's worked to the corner. Chartrand chips it up the boards. Heads back to Rocker Ice, where Koash scoops it up. Scott Koash sends Conway on his way. 2 guys signed in November for Motor City. Scott Koash and Declan Conway have turned into their 2 leading point producers. Here's Dan Chartrand. Chips it in. Schumacher after it. And now Chartrand cycles it down deep. Prowlers in the midst of a change. Chartrand looking to get off as Merritt's line comes on. Here is Sam Merritt digging away in the corner. Comes out for Stoya. McLean just not in the zone to receive that pass. So Prowlers offside at the Rockers line. 16:04 to go in period number 1. Cardinal sends it back to Milam off the draw. McGill Diaz up to Vanderweel. Now Ryder into the zone. Stumbles down, and then Cardinal ends up tripping over Brad Ryder. Prowlers trying to get numbers the other way. It's Adam Hainsel leading the rush, and Stoya just lofts it over top of the cage. McLean rims it around. McGill Diaz up to Vanderweel. Danny Vanderweel playing forward tonight. We've seen him play defense as well for this Motor City club. Here's Makima with a shot kicked out by Tallyu. Looks like Danny Vanderweel has a C on his sweater. I think that's the first time I've seen anybody on this Motor City team with a C. Right now he's getting some attention from the training staff on the Rockers bench. There's an arm up for a penalty. Not sure who it's coming against. I believe it's against the Prowlers as Rotundi one times it wide. Makima trying to pick it up on the boards. And now the Prowlers touch up. So the first penalty of the game coming against, and we'll find out who it is. A roughing penalty, and it will go against Braden Albin. So the tick under 5 minutes gone, or tick over 5 minutes gone in period number 1. The Prowlers will go to the PK when we return. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube channel.
I've worked at Pioneer and now Corteva for 36 years. It goes by very quickly.
This is a pretty noble profession where you're giving back to humanity.
Curiosity is so important. I learn something new every day.
What's that next challenge that may occur for farmers? You do really feel like you've got an impact on what's coming.
I can see how we're making things better.
And we have the best solutions for our farmers. And I think we're here to feed and fuel the world. I'm proud to be part of that culture, and I'm proud to be part of the company.
Back here at Port Huron, no score yet between the Prowlers and the Motor City Rockers, although the Rockers getting set for the first power play of the game. Let's take a look at this series at a glance this season as we head again into the final 2 games of the series, 16-game series, which is the most between 2 teams in the FPHL this season. 7 wins apiece, both teams approaching 50 goals in the 14 games so far, each team picking up 21 points in this season series, and they're 3rd and 4th in the Continental Division. They've beaten each other up, certainly, for much of this season. And again, 2 more games between these 2 teams. This one tonight and tomorrow at Big Boy Arena. We'll have tomorrow's game here for you on the Prowlers YouTube channel again. So the faceoff is down, and the Prowlers on their first penalty kill of the game. Parsons clears it all the way down. Prowlers PK 9th in the FPHL at 77.6%, while the Rockers power play is 2nd best in the league at 23.2%. Schumacher bats that one all the way down the ice, forcing the Rockers to chase for the 2nd time so far in this power play. Prowlers switching up the PK unit. It's Inger, Koash, Conway, Suffredini, and Colton out there for Motor City. Prowlers now with Merritt, Foley, Minnie, and Hainsel. And Gino Minnie able to take that misplayed pass and send it all the way down the ice. 50 seconds gone, and the penalty to Braden Albin. Colton steps out, sends it over to Suffredini. He winds and fires it around. Took a funny hop off the stanchion, and right to Ryder. One-time blast comes in from Milam, and Tulliu has that one. And Cardinal going after Matt Graham. Hainsel comes in to defend his teammate. And now Gino Mini in there as well, wants a piece of Tommy Cardinal. You know, Gino Mini and Tommy Cardinal aren't too shy about dropping the mitts, and they've certainly seen a lot of each other throughout this rivalry. Not wasting any time getting the nastiness going between these 2 teams. Early shots in the game so far favoring Motor City 7-2 as Mini and Cardinal finishing up their conversation. And they're going to take the face-off outside of the Prowlers zone. And it looks like Tommy Cardinal and Gino Mini are both being sent to the penalty box now, so I guess they'll both get some penalties here. We'll see exactly what the calls are. So that wasn't the face-off coming outside, that was those guys going to the box, the indication that we saw from the referee. Face-off will stay inside the Prowlers territory as the Rockers switch up the power play unit. Gaudet chips it back to the point. Here's McGill Diaz with space, wrists it on, and caught the back glass. Milam just able to keep it in at the point. Ryder walks down the wall, feeds it below the goal line to Gaudette, out to McGill-Diaz. Up top, Milam, tried to send it down low, knocked away. Gaudette to McGill-Diaz, up on the right wing side. 20 seconds to go in the penalty to Albin. That one sent to the back door and they score. It's Brad Ryder hanging out down there. I think that hit someone on the way through. May have been a Prowler, may have been a Rocker, but either way, Brad Ryder makes it 1-0 Motor City. It's a power play goal for Ryder. Guy who scored the first goal in Rockers history. Now has his 11th of the season and 6th on the power play. So we're back to 5-on-5. Minnie and Cardinal each receiving 2-minute unsportsmanlike conduct penalties, and those penalties do offset. As the Rockers ice the puck. And it's a 1-0 lead for Motor City. Prowlers being outshot 9-2 right now. Of course, the power play helping that. Johnson walks, fires, and just rose it too high. Parsons keeps it deep. Here's Foley out to Chartrand, a one-timer, stopped by Blake Scott. Inger on the rush the other way towards Conway, knocked it down, pops out to Rotundi, fired it wide. Comes back over to the nearest side as Nick McGill-Diaz and Derek Makima pick up the assist on Brad Ryder's 11th of the year. Conway up high. Now Johnson cuts it off, and he springs a rush. It was Albin trying to force it to the front of the net, couldn't do it. Now Jacobs pinches in to keep the puck alive. But it's wrapped all the way around the other side. Prowler's in the midst of a change, so Motor City comes back up, but Inger doesn't enter the zone. Suffredini now forced back. He turned it over to Schumacher. Prowler's trying to get it in. Now Jacobs steps up, keeps the puck in, wrists it on, stopped by Scott, the rebound, lay there, and Scott able to get his glove on top of it for a whistle with 11:50 to go in the first period. Good shot there from Stephen Jacobs. Had Torrey McLean in front, and Blake Scott looks like he's had some challenges with the rebound control, at least early on. So that one got through Stoya off the faceoff. He's given up rebounds on what looked like shots he might have held on to. As Jacobs trying to work it out. Comes over to Josh Colton, D-to-D to Suffredini. And now Gaudette trying to work his way around Frank Schumacher. Jacobs in there, gets it out to Stoya. Across to McLean, trying to send Albin streaking. That pass was cut off. And Perks drops it to Colton, 11:11 to go, period one. Gaudette had his stick lifted in the zone. Now Conway tried to feed the point, got through, and comes all the way down to Blake Scott's end. He'll leave it there for Suffredini, Devaney right on him. Here's Dante Suffredini streaking through center. Suffredini drop pass for Koash, knocked away by Foley. Scott Koash lifts it around to this side. Conway towards the middle of the ice. Inger wristed it on. That one caught the back glass. Conway up to Milam at the point. Milam winds and fires, stopped by Tolyu. The rebound pops out to the slot right to Devaney. He'll start a rush 2-on-3. Now Devaney with a couple of moves around McGill-Diaz, recollects the puck in the corner. Pops out to Foley. Evan Foley couldn't find Parsons at the point as Inger got his stick in the way. Now Johnson wrists it in. McGill-Diaz off the boards to Koash. lifts it high and out. Chartrand gloves it down. He sends it back in. Past the halfway point of the first period, 1-0. Motor City on the strength of Brad Reiter's power play goal. It's Reiter who deflects it in. Drops behind the net. Merritt sends it up the boards. Gets through to Jay. Dalton Jay moving into the offensive zone. Makes a move around Milam. Trying to come out in front with a wraparound. That one sticked away. Here's Reiter. It's bumped back to Makima. Quickly across to Lambden. Knocked down by Parsons. Has his head up over to Johnson. Alex Johnson took a hit there from Lambden. Looked like Kay Lambden actually took the worst of that one. Here's Johnson with the puck again. That one right out of play. And a penalty coming up. It will be against Mike Wynn. And when we come back, it will be the Prowlers' turn on the man advantage, trailing by 1 with 9:02 to go in the first period. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube channel.
Adventures await you at the award-winning DoubleTree by Hilton Port Huron. Experience the breathtaking view of sailboats and freighters, framed against the background of the impressive Blue Water Bridge, all from the comfort of your elegant guest room balcony. Planning a wedding? The DoubleTree by Hilton has the perfect setting to celebrate a marriage with its wonderful landscaping and beautiful reception area. So whether it's a romantic getaway, a family vacation, or a company outing, sweeten it with a view to remember at the DoubleTree by Hilton, Port Huron.
Back here in Port Huron, 9:02 to go. Opening period, and it's Mike Wynn in the penalty box for delay of game as he lifted the puck straight over the glass. Wynn has not gotten into too many games this season. This is just his 18th of the year. He missed a long chunk of the season with what I assume is an injury. So he was out from November through the beginning of this month, returned on March 3rd, and since coming back, 1 assist in 8 games, but now he sits in the sin bin as the Prowlers send out the power play unit consisting of Evan Foley, Joe Devaney, Frank Schumacher, Matt Stoya, and Alex Johnson. Killers will be Makima, Reiter, Suffredini, and Colton for Motor City as we get set for the face-off to start it off. Suffredini right off the bat tried to clear it. Johnson kept it in. Sent it on net. It was deflected wide. Here's Foley. Tried to give it to Devaney. Puck squirts out of the zone, so the Prowlers have to regroup. Devaney comes back in, rims it all the way around. Suffredini knocks it down. To a side scrum there, and Reiter able to muscle it back to Prowler territory. 30 seconds gone and the penalty to win. Devaney makes a move at center, gets into the offensive zone, but Evan Foley in there offsides. With 1:20 to go on the power play, Prowlers switch up the unit. It'll be their 2 power play goal leaders, Sam Merritt and Matt Graham, with 7 apiece. Out there with their total goals leader, Dalton Jay. He has 32 this season. They're up front with the new guys, Braden Albin and Steven Jacobs on defense. 4 forwards for the Prowlers on this unit. Milam behind the net, tried to send it out. Comes to Jacobs at the line, just sent it wide. McGill-Giaz chopped it only as far as Jay. Graham settles things down, gives up to Albin. Now Jacobs, head up, wrists it on, and Scott able to clutch that to his chest and hang on for a whistle. 49 seconds to go in the power play for the Prowlers. 7:51 left in period number 1. Still 1-0 Motor City. Prowlers trying to respond on their own power play. Merritt and Makima get set for the face-off. Merritt wins it back, but he splits the defense there. And Jacobs able to out-hustle Ryder to that puck. Here Steven Jacobs into the zone. Twist it to the far side, or near side corner. Graham knocked it down, gave to Albin. Head up, finds Jacobs up high. Back to Albin, the one-timer. He didn't get all of it. And it's cleared back down. Talyu out of his crease to play it. Goes all the way up to the red line to Jay. Jay curls back with his team in the midst of a change. Now Koash hassled by Stoya. Scott Koash able to work his way out of it. Here comes Koash up ice. Scott Koash with a shot. That one goes wide. Final seconds ticking off the Prowlers power play. Here's Conway. We're back to 5-on-5 in with Koash. Henning back up the other way. Backhands it all the way across. Devaney settles it down. Can't walk in yet as Stoya was way offside. So the whistle blows. 6:49 to go in the first period. Prowlers now 0 for 1 on the man advantage, and they still trail 1-0. Shots on goal, 10-6 in favor of Motor City at the moment. As Evan Foley and Scott Koash get set for the faceoff, Koash wins it back. Suffredini up the boards towards Inger, knocked down by Koash. Now Suffredini almost fumbled with it, instead he skates it up. Suffredini working on Henning, try to back pass in front, cut off by Foley. Koash covering at the point, keeps it deep. Conway sends it around. Here's Inger. Up high to Suffredini. Now Henning takes it away from Koash. He's just able to get it off the boards and out. Adam Hainsel slowing things down. Back over to Henning. Chartrand tips it in. And icing waved off. Comes to Scott. He'll cover up for a whistle. So an offensive zone faceoff coming for the Prowlers with under 6 minutes to play in the first period. And the Rockers will be unable to change as that puck came all the way down from the Prowlers side of center and Scott covered it. The referees, Steve Gowdy and Jim Scarpace, making sure that the correct 5 Rockers stay on the ice, although there are only 4 out there right now. Linesmen tonight, Dallas Mitchell and Brandon Badens. Merritt wins it back. Here's Stoya. Leaves it for Parsons, put it on, and Scott able to make the save. That one floated through traffic. Merritt was trying to get a touch on. I'm not sure if he did. Blake Scott able to make the save. Prowlers coming on, looking for the tying goal. 5:51 to go in the opening period. Cardinal on the boards, lofts it high and out. It will settle down in Prowlers territory for Frank Schumacher. Schumacher up to Stoya. And now Parsons rims it around. Wynn and McLean get there together. Now Stoya and Gaudette in there as well. It pops out for Brad Ryder. Ryder taken in by Merritt, and McLean takes the puck. McLean cycling it for Merritt. He's taken out by Wynn, and Rotundi able to send Cardinal on his way. Tommy Cardinal rims it around. Schumacher right there. Over to Parsons. Brian Parsons up to McLean. He lost it. Parsons kept it moving up ice. And Albin finds it at the offensive blue line. He's surrounded, but he's able to leave for Graham, and a glove save by Scott on that shot. 4:48 to go in the opening period. Prowlers still trailing by 1 here at McMorran Place. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube channel. Good evening, everybody. Will Wiggleman here with you on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. Freeborn cut into the net. Save, rebound, score!
Every goal.
Back to Jay. Wrist shot, he scores!
Every save.
Going the other way for Pandria. Saved by Hoffman, the rebound. Another one.
Every hit.
Good hip check.
Every
Fires, and he scores!
single
Michael Haskins, cut pad, heading with another good shot, and then a left. Oh boy!
game.
Cardinal poked away by Hoffman, and the Prowlers win it!
The Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. Subscribe now.
.448 to go, first period. Prowlers still trailing the Motor City Rockers 1-0. Will Wiggleman here with you on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. Thanks so much for joining us tonight for the 15th Battle of I-94. Brad Ryder with the only goal so far. Prowlers are 3-4 in the 7 games so far here at McMorran Place against the Rockers. And they are 4-2-1 at Big Boy Arena, where they'll play tomorrow night. Albin wins the faceoff back to Graham, quickly to Minnie, put it on net, blocked on the way through. Lambden trying to step around Gino Minnie. Cade Lambden gets to that puck in the corner. Comes around to Makima. In front, looking for Milam, batted around, and it goes right through the goal mouth. It kicked up off of Milam's skate into the air, and he just tried to whack it out of the air and just sent it right through the crease. Albin able to tip it by. Here's Braden Albin behind the net. Out in front, couldn't find a teammate, comes all the way back to Tolyu. Now Johnson, 4 minutes to go in the period, as Devaney takes it at the red line, gives to Chartrand fresh off the bench. His shot stopped by Scott. It changed directions off a rocker on the way through. And Blake Scott had to reach back the other way to make that save. Here's Dustin Henning up the left wing side into the offensive zone. Sends it to the far corner where Dalton Jay is waiting. Foley trying to go in front to Chartrand. Dan Chartrand back on the puck. He's taken down by Koash. Penalty coming up as Colton touches up. The Prowlers will go to their second power play of the period with 3:21 to go in it. It's going to be Scott Koash heading to the penalty box. 2 minutes for tripping. He knocked down Chartrand initially legally as he was going after that puck, and then the second time they get him for the trip. So the Prowlers have Evan Foley's unit out there. He'll take the draw with Roman Gaudet and he'll win it. Stoya, the one-time blast, he scores! The best shot on the Prowlers finds the twine again. We're tied up at 1. And Matt Stoya coming through with his 7th goal of the year, 3rd on the power play, and after his 8-game point streak was snapped in the Prowlers' last game, he gets one back. And a power play goal for each side, 3:18 to go in the first period. That only took 3 seconds. Stoya, excuse me, out of the zone. Sent it up towards Merritt. He deflects it in. Now Brad Ryder looking for Gaudet on the headman feed off his stick right to Tolyu. And he'll cover up for a whistle. Officially, it's Matt Stoya from Alex Johnson and Evan Foley. And they're calling it 8 seconds after the penalty was called, but either way, very quick right off the face-off. And the importance of winning face-offs, you see it right there. Matt Stoya with an absolute rocket beats Blake Scott. We'll do the defensive zone face-off in the Prowler zone. Again, Albin able to win it this time. It's Schumacher now behind the net. Frank Schumacher up to Devaney. Sends it out. It's knocked down by Cardinal. And it's Wynn sending it in and taking a hard hit from Matt Graham. Schumacher up to Brian Parsons. Parsons will skate it in. Parsons taking a seat. Knocked down by Wynn, and the puck comes out to center. Backhanded in by Devaney. And then Scott will just cover it up on the back of the cage there with his blocker with 2:08 to go in the first period. We'll have another whistle. Offensive zone face-off for the Prowlers. Shots on goal are 12-11 in favor of the Motor City Rockers, and it's 1-1 on a pair of power play goals. Evan Foley works it to the point to Hainzel, rims it all the way around. Now Cade Lambden. Knocked off his stick by Henning. And it looks like a Rocker is getting a penalty. As Jay splits the D, knocked off his stick though. Chartrand back on the puck. Chartrand to Jay, backhands it on net, stopped by Scott. Henning with a try, knocked back out. And Chartrand scored, but the Rockers had touched up already. And the whistle blew. Slashing is the call. I thought the penalty was coming to Dustin Henning because they raised the arm right after Henning put the hit on Lambden. It was a clean hit as Lambden was dumping the puck and then Henning just played the body, but they got Lambden on the slash, so the Prowlers right back to the power play. Looking to take the lead, they'll send that unit that just scored back out there. But credit to Dustin Henning with the good hit there and taking the slash to get the Prowlers back on the man advantage. And Matt Stoya faking the slap shot there, and it won't come back to him as Koash ties up Foley on the faceoff. Of course, it was Koash who was in the box for that power play goal, and Evan Foley won the faceoff cleanly that time. But this time it was Koash able to tie it up, and the Prowlers back into the offensive zone. All the way across, Devaney just sent it back out the other side on the one-timer. Stoya wrists it on, and it's held on to by Trevor Babin, and Joe Devaney with his head up after that one. He'll look to the ceiling after Stoya sent a great seam pass all the way across, and Devaney just sent it all the way back the other way. He couldn't find the net. Sight's just a little bit off for Joe Devaney as the Prowlers switch up their units. Albin across to Jacobs. Back up top, Albin, the one-timer, blocked by Makima, right to Jay. Jay again takes the shot, hit Scott in the mask. So we hit the final minute of play in the period. That one chopped over top of the glass. And the referee's signaling deflection, and the faceoff will stay inside the Rockers zone with 54.5 seconds to go in the period. Not sure what the whistle here is for. It's now everybody all set. Albin this time taking the face-off, and Suffredini knocked down by Jacobs at the line with his glove as Suffredini tried to clear it. Here's Merritt behind the net to Graham. Up high it comes to Albin. Over to Jacobs, the one-timer, sent it wide. And Jacobs just couldn't reach back out to that puck as Suffredini sends it the length of the ice. 30 seconds to go in the period, 50 seconds left on the penalty to Cade Lambden. As Steven Jacobs gives to Jay. Now Merritt enters the zone, drops to Albin. Albin walks in, fires, and a save by Scott. He'll hang on with 17.7 to go in the first period. Prowlers switching up the power play unit again. They'll go back to Evan Foley's unit. So unless the Prowlers can score here in this final 17.7, the penalty will bleed into period number 2 as Koash ties up Foley again. Rotundi backhands it up the boards. Koash finishes the job, sending it all the way down. 7 seconds left in the period. Johnson looks up at the clock, 3 seconds, 2. And Johnson will just send a wrist shot all the way down. And that's going to do it for the first 20 minutes of play here at McMorran Place. The Prowlers and the Rockers knotted up at 1 goal apiece. Shots on goal in that opening period, 15 for the Prowlers, 12 for the Motor City Rockers. And the Prowlers will have 19 seconds of power play time when we come back for period number 2 here in Port Huron. Goal scorers, Brad Ryder for the Rockers and Matt Stoya, both of them power play goals. Well, your Prowlers have clinched the Commissioner's Cup playoffs, so celebrate with some new merch. Located on the west end of McMorran Arena, the team store is open every home game all season long, featuring t-shirts, sweatshirts, mini sticks, and more. Brand new team-issued gear is also available while supplies last. Rep your team in style with gear from the Prowlers team store. 1-1 as we head to the first intermission here at McMorran Place. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube channel. Back here at McMorran Place, first intermission, and it's 1-1 between the Prowlers and the Motor City Rockers. Will Wiggleman here with you on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. Before we look back at that first period, let's take a look around the FPHL, and we start in upstate New York, where the Binghamton Black Bears have a 3-1 lead on the Elmira Mammoth. That one early going second period. And now we move over to Danbury, Connecticut, where late in the first, no score yet between the Hat Tricks and the Delaware Thunder. Hat Tricks up on shots though, 22-5, and Spencer Kozlowski with another spectacular performance so far, keeping the Thunder in it. Columbus has a 1-0 lead on the Watertown Wolves, actually make it 2-0. As I say that, Adam Finelli with a power play goal. So 2-0 River Dragons in Watertown. That one late going first period. And finally, we go down to the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Annex, and it is a 2-1 lead for the Mississippi Seawolves over the Carolina Thunderbirds. Of course, here it is 1-1 between the I-94 rivals, the Port Huron Prowlers, and the Motor City Rockers. That opening period was certainly entertaining. Both teams getting their chances, both goaltenders making some good saves, and it was the power plays that got the scoring done for both sides. Brad Ryder taking advantage of what looked like a broken play, may have hit someone on the way through after Miguel Diaz sent it in from the point, found Ryder on the back door, and he will not have an easier goal this season as he is able to pot it in the empty cage and made it 1-0 Motor City, 6:48 in. And then just under 10 minutes of playing time later, it was Matt Stoya responding right off the face-off. Prowlers on the power play, and Evan Foley won it back clean. Johnson to Stoya, and the one-time blast beats Blake Scott. And that knotted things up at 1, and that is where we stand heading into period number 2. We did see a little bit of the rough stuff in that opening period as well. Tommy Cardinal and Gino Mini each picking up penalties for unsportsmanlike conduct in that first period. They got matching penalties after a little bit of pushing and shoving in front of Brian Tollew. So the Rockers stepping back out onto the ice as we are just seconds away from second period action here at McMorran Place. As the Prowlers outshot the Rockers 15-12 in that opening period. Blake Scott getting set in the goal crease to our right for this period, as he will be in just a second. He made 14 saves on 15 Prowler shots in that opening frame. Meanwhile, Brian Tollew getting the crease set to go in the goal to our left, made 11 saves on 12 Rocker shots in period number 1. Well, Port Huron will start this frame with 19 seconds of power play time, with Cade Lambden still in the penalty box. And they will send out Matt Graham's unit, or maybe just Matt Graham's line. Prowlers will, yes, they'll just send out Graham's line with Alex Johnson and Gino Mini. That was the starting line for the Prowlers, so not a power play unit, just a normal 5-on-5 grouping for the Prowlers. Again, just 19 seconds of power play time, and we're underway in period number 2. Here's Johnson. Works it to Devaney. Gets it into Albin. Albin, head up. Out high to Mini. Wrists it on, deflected, and knocked to the corner. We're back to 5-on-5 as Lambden steps out of the box. Graham Looking across the crease to Joe Devaney. Devaney has it now. He cycles it down low to Graham. Continues it on for Braden Albin out of Norwich University in his pro hockey debut. Albin corrals the bouncing puck, couldn't send it out in front. Now it ends up on the near sideboards. Devaney and Lambden come together. And it's rimmed back around the other direction. Minnie pinches in, throws a hit on Makima. And the puck goes all the way down to Prowler ice. Dan Chartrand, fresh off the bench, first on it. A minute gone in this second period as Chartrand dumps it in. Icing waved off as Jay tried to throw a hit on Suffredini. It's lifted as far as Frank Schumacher, who gloves it down. Played back into Rocker territory. Inger leaves it there for Milam. Flips it high and out. And it drops right for Conway. He was bumped off by Steven Jacobs, the other rookie making his FPHL debut tonight. Out of Franklin Pierce University. First Prowler this season to wear a single-digit number. As Jacobs with number 6, he has the puck now on the left wing side. Jacobs wrists it on, knocked down by Scott, and he recollects the rebound before Evan Foley could get there. We've played a minute 55 into period number 2. And the Prowlers with the first couple of opportunities of this frame. Parsons lined up right behind Sam Merritt. Faceoff ends up coming to the boards, and there's Parsons with the puck. Wrist shot stopped by Scott, and he'll hang on. There's a rocker down in the corner. It looks like it's Scott Koash. I didn't see what happened, but Bridget Smith, the Prowlers trainer, is being brought out onto the ice. It looked like off the face-off, Koash just sent it up the boards, and as he was turning, Torrey McLean was coming in, and he hit him clean. But Koash just wasn't expecting anybody to be there. So that's where the danger lied. So Scott Koash still in a heap in that far side corner as Bridget Smith out to tend to him. Now Koash back up to a knee. Torrey McLean, a big body. And as Koash was turning out of that corner, he ran into McLean, who threw the shoulder into him. Now Koash back to his feet. He's got the towel on his face, and it looks like he'll head straight to the locker room for repairs. I'll have to clean a little bit of blood off the ice. Torrey McLean, 6'4", 220 pounds. Koash, just 5'8", 180 pounds. So significant size difference there between those two guys. That collision in the corner.
Let's give it up for the Prowlers Carhartt Ice Crew.
They'll just finish up cleaning up the ice there in the corner. So far in this period, Prowlers with a couple of shots on Blake Scott. He stopped both of them. And now they'll bring out a little bit of water to finish cleaning up that corner on the far side. McLean sticking out there with the rest of his line, having some conversations with the Rockers. Elias Thompson is in the lineup tonight, I believe. He did take warm-ups, although he was wearing number 15 in warm-ups. Although, actually, I don't see him here on the roster, so Elias Thompson, I guess, not in the lineup tonight for Motor City. But he's usually the guy who would drop the mitts after any kind of hit for this Motor City team. So here's Dustin Henning as we're back to play. Locked up there by Roman Gaudet. They tie up in the corner. Ryder, trying to fish it out. Here's Brad Ryder. Out to McGill Diaz, wristed on. That deflected a couple of times, and it went in off of Gaudet's skate, and they're immediately waving this one off. The distinct kicking motion will be the call. And Gaudet having a laugh about it. I don't think he'll argue too hard, as the shot came in from McGill Diaz at the point, and Gaudet was just trying to kick it up to his stick. Obviously no intention of trying to kick that puck into the net, but it didn't hit his stick, so that's a distinct kicking motion, and they'll just take the faceoff right back out to center ice. So the Prowlers catch a bit of a break there, but not much argument from Motor City on that call, as it's rimmed around. Here's Gaudet up to Cardinal. Has Ryder streaking, gives it to him. Ryder with a shot knocked down by Talley, and Graham plays it right back to Talley. He'll cover up. Alex Johnson with some words for Roman Gaudet after he was flying in looking for the rebound. So the face-off will be to Talley's left. Both teams getting some new troops out there. Evan Foley's line will be on for the Prowlers. He'll take the face-off against Tim Perks, who's been fairly quiet tonight, at least so far. Colton takes the puck back at center for Motor City. Rockers have 3 defensemen out there. Colton is playing forward, it looks like, for this shift on this line. It's Colton, Perks, and Cade Lambden. Of course, Koash in the dressing room right now after taking that hit in the corner just a few minutes ago. Here's Johnson. Got around Lambden, fed it up to Dan Chartrand, looking for the home run pass, couldn't find Foley, but Foley outraces Milam to negate the icing. That one got through Chartrand though on the boards, and Jacobs, fresh off the bench, comes back to get it for the Prowlers. 16:15 to go in the period as Jay walks back in, shot it wide. Glove down by Jacobs at the line, and batted right back out by McGill Diaz. Talley out to play it. Gives it to Jacobs. He rims it all the way around. Kept in by Makima. And now Conway below the goal line. Good hit there by Jacobs to take down Declan Conway and take the puck. Jacobs wrists it in. Stoya right off the bench, right on the puck. He's the Prowlers' goal scorer tonight. Merritt in front, looking for Chartrand, able to get it on net. Scott had it hit him. I'm not sure if Blake Scott even knew where that puck was as it was bouncing around in front. Rocker's able to get it out as Conway works it to win. Now Adam Hainsel recovers for the Prowlers. Parsons got it to the line, not out as Rotundi kept it in. Ryder put it on, kick save and a beauty from Talley, and then McLean chips it around Rotundi. He drops for Sam Merritt. Merritt all the way around the net, tried the wrap around, comes out in front, and McLean just couldn't tap that one home. Stoya was trying to gain control so he could put it on net. It ended up sliding across the crease, and Torrey McLean just couldn't reach out and tap that puck into the yawning cage. McLean back on it, gives to Devaney. Loose puck, Joe Devaney back on it, over to Graham. Matt Graham pulls up, Feeds it across, looking for Albin. Now Braden Albin sends it down low towards Devaney. Devaney knocks it down with the glove. He cycles it deep for Graham. In front looking for Albin. Cut off there. Albin on that puck to Devaney. Wrist shot hit the post! And it flies out of play. Oh, Joe Devaney just can't catch a break tonight. He missed the one-timer in the first period and just catches the iron here in the second. Scott Koash returning to the ice for Motor City as we hit a timeout. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube channel.
I've worked at Pioneer and now Corteva for 36 years. It goes by very quickly.
This is a pretty noble profession where you're giving back to humanity.
Curiosity is so important. I learn something new every day.
What's that next challenge that may occur for farmers? You do really feel like you've got an impact on what's coming.
I can see how we're making things better.
And we have the best solutions for our farmers. And I think we're here to feed and fuel the world. I'm proud to be part of that culture, and I'm proud to be part of the company.
Back here at McMorran Place, 14:06 to go in period number 2. And the Prowlers and the Rockers still knotted up at 1 apiece. Shots on goal in this period favoring the Prowlers 3-2. And for the game, 18-14. Face-off will be deep in Rockers territory after Joe Devaney just hit the post on his shot just before the timeout, searching for his 30th goal of the season. Saw his 6-game point streak snapped last Saturday against Watertown in the Prowlers' 3-1 victory. Suffredini tried to find Milam, cut off by Graham. Then Lambden takes the puck back, poked away by Minnie. Here's Graham all by himself in front of the net. Looking pass all the way, comes back to him, and he feeds it out high to Johnson. That one deflected in, and Scott able to cover up for a whistle. And you know Matt Graham is a pass-first guy all the way. The Prowlers' franchise leader in assists. But you think maybe there he might have turned and put a shot on Blake Scott. He had plenty of space below the face-off circle, or below the face-off dot at least. As Jay feeds it over to Henning, tried to wrist it on, comes back out to Jay. That one off a stick and out of play with 13:37 to go in period number 2. So we'll do the face-off again. The Rockers switching up the defense pair. It's Wynn and Rotundi coming out to replace Milam and Suffredini. Foley wins the face-off. Jay gets it deep. Pops out to Henning. Walks down the wall. Prowlers captain gives it around to Foley. In front, looking for Chartrand. And Scott covers up that puck in the crease as Dan Chartrand was tied up there right in front of the net. $13:22 to go, second period. Couple of good ships in a row for the Prowlers in Rockers territory. Schumacher right behind Evan Foley for this face-off. Just couldn't reach it. One hands it along, but instead here's a long pass up for Cardinal. To the backhand, he scores. Tommy Cardinal on the breakaway gives Motor City back the lead. It's 2-1. And that face-off play just didn't work as the Prowlers drew it up. As Schumacher couldn't reach that puck, he was able to keep it in for a moment, but then the pass came up to Cardinal, who was sprung on a breakaway. And that's how the Rockers take the lead back 2-1 on Tommy Cardinal's 20th goal of the season. Comes all the way across towards Rotundi. Now knocked down by McLean. Here's Gaudette. Roman Gaudette continues to chip it along. Win goes deep for Ryder. Now Cardinal takes the body there from Parsons. Ryder back out in front. Sauces it to the point to Rotundi. Stuck in his skates. Stoya able to knock it out of the zone momentarily. Now the Prowlers with the puck. It's Parsons up to Stoya. He rims it around. Officially, it's Cardinal from Roman Gaudette at 6:46 of the second period, making it a 2-1 Motor City lead. Comes all the way into Rocker territory, but icing is the call as McGill Diaz wins the race. So they'll take the face-off all the way back to Brian Tollew's end with 12:17 to go in the second period. Stoya will take this face-off against Makima. And it's won back by Derek Makima. And Stoya pokes it off of Milam's stick. He's got a step with Albin, and he wristed it high. Now Albin on the puck, waiting for his team to complete a change. Surrounded, gets it in front to Graham. Hey, back at it, and then Scott able to cover up as Matt Graham got a couple of whacks on that puck. Couple of good chances for the Prowlers in tight, and Blake Scott down in the butterfly, able to stop most of them so far tonight. Albin and Koash in on the face-off. Albin wins it cleanly. Minnie tried to send it down the boards. Koash chops it out. Now Johnson off the boards, up towards Inger, who sent it back the other way. And now Graham on the far side. Taken away by Conway. Conway to Inger, steps in, shoots, and saved by Tollew. He'll clutch it to his chest for a whistle. 11:36 to go in period number 2. It's a 2-1 lead for the Motor City Rockers. Evan Foley's line back out there against Brad Ryder. That's Ryder with Cardinal and Gaudette, the line that scored for Motor City just minutes ago. Here's Minnie. Couldn't send it out. Cardinal over to Colton. He just kept it in at the line. Now Ryder all the way across looking for Cardinal. Couldn't get that bouncing puck, and now Suffredini and Jay chase it down. Suffredini able to get it back to center. Here's Colton. Over to Dante Suffredini. Couldn't dangle through Jay. Sent it up to Foley into Rocker territory. To the backhand off the post! Second post for the Prowlers this period as Evan Foley beat Blake Scott back to this side along the ice and just caught the iron. Now Johnson fanned on it. Ryder in alone. Saved by Tollew, and then Ryder scores on the rebound. Alex Johnson fanned on the pass up ice, took a big hit from Cade Lambden after he did. And Brad Ryder takes advantage and opens up a 3-1 lead for the Motor City Rockers. It's Ryder's second of the game, 12th of the season. And just like that, it's 3-1 Motor City with 10:48 to go in the second period, a period that the Prowlers started dominating in Motor City territory for the first few shifts. And then the Rockers have turned it back the other way. A very opportunistic Motor City Rockers team that we've seen all season. As they get any kind of opportunity, a turnover, an odd man rush, and they take advantage, as they did on those 2 goals from Cardinal and Ryder in this period. Officially, it's Ryder unassisted at 9:12. Lambden and Stoya getting into it a little bit before this face-off. Lambden and Stoya still going at each other after the puck drops. Scott turns away the dump in from Jacobs. Now Schumacher over to Jacobs. Walks in, shoots, and it's knocked down by Scott. Rimmed all the way back around this way. And now getting into it are Stoya and Wynn. A little extra pushing and shoving there. The referee had the arm up. Stoya and Wynn separated. And we'll see who they have here. Matt Stoya looked like he was being escorted to the penalty box. And indeed he is. Will he be the only one? It looks like it. Unless they call over somebody on the Rockers bench. As of now, it looks like a Prowlers penalty kill. Tori McLean with some words for the Rockers bench. And it looks like that's how it will stay. Prowlers will go to the penalty kill for the second time tonight. And Motor City is 1 for 1 on the power play. Rockers trying to extend the lead to 3 with 10.5 to go in the second period. All been able to win the opening faceoff of this power play. Colton able to keep it in at the line. Rim back around towards Conway. Cross-checking the official call against Matt Stoya. Conway down to Inger. Up high to Colton. Across to Kowash. He takes the shot, deflected, saved by Tully. The rebound sits there, and it's sent off the glass by Inger. Parsons battling for it. Graham tried to chop it out, kept in. Conway to Kowash. Tried to wrist it on and hit Parsons on the way through. Inger up high to Colton. Down to Kowash. His shot blocked by Brian Parsons. Suffredini over to Colton. Wrists it on. Stopped by Tully. The rebound lays there. Tully able to get across and cover up. And then Kowash threw a punch at Albin. And a little brouhaha ensuing as Brian Parsons gets involved. He's trying to get around the referee to get at Kowash. We'll see if anything more comes from this. The Rockers penalty box door is open, but now they'll close it as Scott Kowash will not be heading over there. So 53 seconds left to go in the Rockers power play. We will take a timeout with 9:23 to go in the second period. And the referees still chatting things over. We'll see if anything changes when we come back. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube channel.
Adventures await you at the award-winning DoubleTree by Hilton Port Huron. Experience the breathtaking view of sailboats and freighters, framed against the background of the impressive Blue Water Bridge, all from the comfort of your elegant guest room balcony. Planning a wedding? The DoubleTree by Hilton has the perfect setting to celebrate a marriage with its wonderful landscaping and beautiful reception area. So whether it's a romantic getaway, a family vacation, or a company outing, sweeten it with a view to remember at the DoubleTree by Hilton, Port Huron.
.923 to go, second period. 53 seconds left on the Rockers power play. And they lead the Port Huron Prowlers 3-1 here at McMorran Place. I thought there might be a little bit more coming from that scrum over by Brian Tolyu, and the Prowlers also were searching for an explanation during that TV timeout as Kowash got his hands up into Braden Aubin's face. Nothing further coming though, and it's still 5-on-4 for the next 53 seconds. Milam had it go off his stick, heading, tried to poke it out. Gaudette rims it all the way around, but McGill Diaz not home at the point, so that's as good as a Prowlers clear. McGill Diaz leaves it behind the net for Milam. Jamison Milam, the veteran. Henning, another veteran. Tried to send it out. Foley finishes the job. 19 seconds left on the Prowlers kill. McGill Diaz up to Gaudette. Taken away by Aubin. Sent right back down the ice. And Stoya set to step out of the penalty box. And we're back to 5-on-5. Gaudette head up, sauces it to the slot off of Makima. Aubin knocks it all the way down, and this one will be icing against the Prowlers. So Port Huron won't be able to change with 8:17 to go in the second period. So faceoff comes to Tolyu's right. It's Aubin and Perks in on the draw. And then right off the faceoff, we have Lambden down. Meanwhile, Prowlers up the other way. Stoya towards the net, pinballs around, and it's knocked down in the corner. Matt Graham is getting a penalty, I believe, as Rotundi was knocked into Sky. Now Lambden and Stoya a little pushing and shoving, and they're gonna go. Oh no, Stoya decided he didn't want it. Cade Lambden threw the gloves and the stick on the ice. Matt Graham is already over by the penalty box. Looks like Cade Lambden and Matt Stoya will both get penalties here. We'll let you know when things get figured out. I want to go back to see what happened here off the face-off between Lambden and it looked like Stoya. Stoya came right through and Lambden took it up high as they collided. Again, Cade Lambden, not the biggest guy in the world. Shoved down to the ice off the face-off. And he and Stoya are both chirping at each other in the box. Right now it's a Rockers power play. And I believe that's because Stoya and Lambden will get matching penalties, and Matt Graham, who's sitting in the box, will get the extra 2. Rockers right back to the power play. And Scott Koash signaling to his bench that it will be 5-on-4. So we will see exactly what the penalties are. We'll let you know when they come down. Torrey McLean is heading off the ice. Not sure what that's about. But right now on my monitor here, we have Matt Graham 2 minutes for cross-checking. And I believe that's on when Rotundi got shoved into Blake Scott. That was the original penalty. And then Lambden and Stoya, 2 minutes for unsportsmanlike conduct. That leads to another Rockers power play as Koash walks up the board, switches spots with Inger. Koash seam pass across to Colton in front, and a good save by Tolyu on the deflection from Conway, and the Prowlers clear it down. Torrey McLean got a 10-minute misconduct penalty for unsportsmanlike conduct, so he headed to the locker room. Colton dumps it back in. Parsons off the glass and out. Suffredini tried to knock it down but could not. And now Conway steps in, gives to Koash. Scott Koash walks up the wall. Out down to Conway. Out high looking for Colton, got through him. He's able to get it back deep, but right to Parsons. He sends it the length of the ice, halfway through the Rockers' power play. 7 minutes to go in the second period. As here's Roman Gaudette. Down low to Colton. Now Ryder. Brad Ryder with a head fake. He'll get into the Prowlers zone. Knocked off his stick neatly by Sam Merritt. He gets it back to Rocker ice. 30 seconds to go on the penalty to Matt Graham. Schumacher working that puck up the wall. Cardinal collects at the point, wrists it on, stopped by Tolyu. He looked behind him, but he has it. 19 seconds left on the penalty, 6:24 to go in the second period. One that started good for the Prowlers was this second period, but it's been all Rockers since that Tommy Cardinal goal. They added one more. It's a 3-1 lead. Still lots of time, of course. Prowlers would certainly like to kill this one off. Dan Chartrand with a good step towards that. Chartrand has a couple of shorthanded goals this season, including a game winner in Binghamton. That was back in December. As Graham steps out of the box, so we're back to 5-on-5. The Prowlers PK comes up big again in this second period. Colton to Suffredini. Gets it out, but right to Jay. Jay back in. Dalton Jay gets to the outside, put it in front, off of Foley. Chartrand took a swipe at that bouncing puck. Jay on it again, sent it down low, and a kick save by Blake Scott. Foley couldn't feed it out in front. Hainzel down to Evan Foley, into Jay, couldn't pull the trigger. Foley again, out high, Hainzel with a blast. Stopped by Scott, the rebound, lay there, and Blake Scott was swimming, but he somehow kicked that puck out. Conway back in, tried a sharp angle shot. That didn't get through. Rotundi gets it all the way around to Alex Johnson. Now Johnson up to Chartrand. Gets the red line, sauces it deep. Scott collects it and covers it. And now behind the net, Wynn and Johnson getting into it a little bit. Gaudette coming in defense of Mike Wynn. And everybody will be separated as we head to a timeout. It's a 3-1 Rockers lead with 4:55 to go in the second period. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube channel. Good evening, everybody. Will Wiggleman here with you on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. Freeborn cutting to the net. Save, rebound, score!
Every goal,
Back to Jay. Wrist shot, he scores!
every save,
Going the other way, Papandrea, saved by Hoffman, the rebound, another one!
every hit,
Good hip check!
every
Fires, and he scores!
single
Michael Haskins, cut pad, heading with another good shot, and then a left, oh boy!
game.
Cardinal, poked away by Hoffman, and the Prowlers win it!
The Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. Subscribe now.
.455 to go, second period. Still a 2-goal Rockers lead here at McMorran Place. Will Wiggleman with you on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. It's been a good game so far. Both teams getting their chances. It's the Rockers who've been opportunistic in this frame, getting goals off of turnovers. One in their own zone and one in the offensive end. That's put them up 2, and here's another turnover. As Makima comes in, and a good save by Tolyu. It flies out of play. 4.5 to go in this second period. Prowlers send out Evan Foley's line for this defensive zone face-off. It will come over in the far side face-off circle. The Foley and Ryder in the dot. One back by Ryder. Milam walks the line, wrists it on, goes wide. Milam again came out of the zone. Gaudette trying to turn it back in. Henning steps up, and the puck ends up deep where Foley works it up the wall. Jay looking for Chartrand off his skate. Parsons skates into it. And then Gaudette recovers and sends it back to Prowler territory. Parsons with some space. Tried to send it all the way through. Icing waved off. Conway couldn't get it through Dustin Henning, and it pops into the Prowlers bench for a whistle. 3:52 to go in the second period. Sam Merritt's line out there for the Prowlers. Matt Graham taking Tori McLean's spot on the left wing. He just received the 10-minute unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, so my guess is that he'll be back for the third period, albeit he'll begin it in the penalty box. As Frank Schumacher works it up in Graham's direction. Matt Graham playing mostly wing in this game here on Sam Merritt's line, but on his regular line, he's been playing wing with Braden Albin acting as the centerman. Colton wrists it to Conway in the slot. Kick save and a beauty from Brian Tolyu. Prowlers can't get it out. Comes to Kowash to the forehand. Glove save by Tolyu against the Rockers' leading goal scorer on his doorstep. 3:10 to go in the second period. Dalton Jay taking a shift on Braden Albin's line as Matt Graham just stepped off the ice. Here is Jay flying through center. Jay pulls up, sends it deep. Devaney and Wynn come together. And now sent out. Here's Johnson. His clearing attempt blocked by Perks. And Gino Mini pulls it out, sauces it all the way to Albin at the Rockers' blue line. Scott elected to cover it, at least at first. Then he wanted to pass it off, but it was too late. And the whistle blows. An offensive zone faceoff coming for the Prowlers. And the Rockers will not be allowed to change on this one, as Scott covered in that dump from the Prowlers side of center. Now Jay stays out there. Sam Merritt comes on in place of Albin. Mini spins it to the corner. That's backhanded. Where is it? Ends up in the seats just behind the glass. So we'll have another face-off in the Rockers' end, and this time Motor City able to get the change they were looking for. 2:36 to go, second period. Still a 2-goal Rockers lead. This is exactly the type of game Motor City's comfortable playing, a low-scoring one, averaging under 4 goals per game, 4 and 4 goals against per game. As Mini walks in, fires, and a kick save by Scott. Jay tried to put it back on. It was cut off by Ryder. Devaney turns it back up the other way. Joe Devaney makes a move, gives it to Jay. Had his stick lifted at the last second. Good back check there by Gaudette. Now Devaney in front, tipped wide by Jay. Minnie looking for Jay again, bounces to the blue line and hops over Alex Johnson's stick. Under 2 minutes to play in this second period. Devaney across looking for Chartrand. He couldn't handle it cleanly. And it comes all the way back down to Prowler ice. Icing waved off. Albin tips it in. McGill Diaz and Graham chase after it. Graham gets there first in front, looking for Albin. Cut off. Henning put it on. Save by Scott, and the rebound comes out to Coash. Inger tried to send it towards the back post off of Henning. Now Graham turns it back up. Albin off the boards and in. Henning keeps it in at the line. Now Hainsel hustling after that loose puck. Rimmed back around by Colton. We hit the final minute of play of the second period. Chartrand just sent it right through the crease. And Inger, cross-ice pass, gloved down by Jacobs. Steven Jacobs sent it deep. Suffredini trying to stick handle his way out of pressure. Schumacher just couldn't keep it in at the line. And now Makima takes that puck away, sidesteps a big hit from Frank Schumacher. Stoya back to collect that puck in his own end. 30 seconds to go in the middle period. Stoya, long lead pass up for Foley. Got through him, but it's on net, so no icing. Schumacher kept it in momentarily. Devaney, slap pass down to Foley, tried to work it out in front. 12 seconds to go in the period. Schumacher back at center. Prowlers have to get back on sides. Schumacher sent it in. Looks like it went off of Stoya, so the whistle blows for offsides with 6.7 seconds to go in period number 2. Graham, Jay, and Devaney out there for the Prowlers for this, what's likely the final face-off of the second period. Graham able to win it forward. Couldn't get to Devaney though. Chopped along the boards, but time will expire in the second period, and after 40 minutes, it's 3-1 in favor of the Motor City Rockers. Shots on goal in that second period tied at 13, and the Prowlers hang on to the two-period total with the lead 28-25, again in favor of Port Huron. Tommy Cardinal and Brad Ryder, the goal scorers in that second period, and they gave the Motor City Rockers a 2-goal lead heading into the final frame here at McMorran Place. Well, secure your seats for the Prowlers' next home game as they take on the Danbury Hat Tricks on Friday, April 14th, with puck drop at McMorran Place scheduled for 7:05 p.m. Tickets are available online at phprowlers.com/tickets or by calling the box office at 810-985-6166. That's online at phprowlers.com/tickets or by phone at 810-985-6166. Prowlers have some work to do when we come back for the third period of action, but first, they'll take a break and talk about it in the locker room. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers Hockey on the Prowlers YouTube channel. We're getting set for the start of the third period of play here at McMorran Place, and it's the Motor City Rockers with a 3-1 lead on the Port Huron Prowlers. Will Wiggleman here with you on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. Before we take a look back at that second period, let's go around the FPHL and update you on the scores of the other 8 teams in the league going at it tonight. The Binghamton Black Bears have a 5-2 lead on the Elmira Mammoth. That one midway through the third period in Binghamton. The Columbus River Dragons are in Watertown, and they have a 3-0 lead on the Wolves. That one approaching the end of the second period. Brendan Colgan, who's already set the FPHL record for shutouts in a season, bidding for another one in Watertown. Danbury Hat Tricks also have a 3-0 lead. They're hosting the Delaware Thunder. That one at the end of 2 periods. Brian Wilson has made all 12 saves he's had to make for the Hat Tricks, who are out shooting the Thunder 44-12 through 40 minutes. Carolina Thunderbirds have a 3-2 lead on the Mississippi Seawolves. When I first checked this, right as the period expired here at McMorran Place, it was 2-1 Mississippi, but 2 goals in about a minute and 15 seconds from Josh Keplinger and Dawson Baker have flipped that one on its head, and the Thunderbirds have a 3-2 lead. Of course, here it's 3-1 Motor City, and you look at that period, it seems like a typical Motor City Rockers period where they survive a push and then get some opportunistic goals. It was a turnover in the Prowlers offensive end, and Roman Gaudette sprung Tommy Cardinal on a breakaway. That made it 2-1 Motor City, and then a few minutes later, another turnover, this time in the Prowlers zone. Sent Brad Ryder all alone on Brian Tollew. Tollew made the first save, but could not get the second, and that's where we stand heading into the third period of play. Rockers heading out onto the ice, and Blake Scott will slide into the goal crease to our left. Scott has made 27 saves on 28 shots tonight. While Brian Tollew getting set to slide into the crease to our right. He's made 22 saves on 25 shots, and really, you can't blame him for any of the 3 goals. The first one, a backdoor tap for Ryder on a broken play. The second one, a breakaway. The third one, another partial breakaway, and he even made the first save on that third goal, but unfortunately for the Prowlers, unable to make the second save as Ryder got his own rebound and put it home. Prowlers just 2-18-2 when trailing after the second period of play tonight. They will try to get their third victory when trailing after 2 periods as they look to take the lead in the Battle of I-94 going into the final matchup tomorrow night at Big Boy Arena in Fraser. 20 minutes up on the board at McMorran Place. Torrey McLean steps into the penalty box to serve the rest of his 10-minute misconduct. And that one does not affect on-ice manpower. Prowlers sending out Braden Auburn's line with Matt Graham and Joe Devaney. Gino Mini and Alex Johnson, the defense pair, to begin this one. As they brought out the squeegee here. And taking it all the way down to Blake Scott's crease is Dallas Mitchell, the linesman. So a little bit of excess water in that crease to our left. So now we are all set to go for third period action. We're just waiting for the Rockers to take their positions. Looks like it's going to be Tim Perks out there with Kate Lambden and Derek Makima to begin this period. Mike Wynn and Ryan Rotundi, the defense pair for the Rockers. Third period action set to go as Braden Aubin and Tim Perks get into the face-off circle. We are underway. Devaney tips it in. Graham hustling after Rotundi, who rims it all the way around. Aubin cut it off. Comes back to this side. Chip past Johnson, and now Lambden couldn't make a move around Minnie. Backhands it all the way across. Aubin sends Devaney in. Knocked off his stick. Back to Braden Aubin. That one handcuffed Joe Devaney. Makima had it knocked off his stick. Prowlers trying to work it out. It's Graham to Devaney. Devaney dumps it in. Johnson and Wynn get there together. Now Shark tread in on Perks. Trying to dig that puck loose. Worked up the wall towards Inger. Schumacher steps up on Inger. Keeps the puck in. Sharktran down low to Foley. Comes out high. Jacobs took a swipe at it. Prowlers just able to keep it in. And Sharktran pokes it towards Foley. Has Jay. Gives it to him. Saved by Scott. Sent all the way down the ice. And the Rockers have iced the puck. But Dalton Jay with a great opportunity on the good forecheck work along the boards by Dan Chartrand and Evan Foley. And Scott slides across to make the save on Jay. I'm not sure if you could hear it at home, but I could certainly hear it. Dalton Jay screaming for that puck as Foley got it. Schumacher wrists it on, blocked by traffic on the way through. Stoya back to Hainsel at the point, sent it on net, deflected wide. Perks trying to work it out. Got it only as far as Stoya. He gives it to Adam Hainsel. Rockers in the midst of a full change as Adam Hainsel works it up to Stoya. Wrist shot off a stick and goes to the corner. Hainsel put it all the way back around. Dustin Henning plays it at center. Waits for his team to complete a change, and now he works up ice. Dustin Henning wrists it around. Devaney first on the puck. Now Suffredini. Almost taken away by Jay Gaudet, able to recover and dump it in. Tolyu almost became a victim of that Zamboni door. Puck pops out high. Suffredini put it on, deflected, and Tolyu makes the save. Rebound scooped up by Aubin. Jay head up as he turns the corner, gives up to Henning. Sent back into the Prowlers zone. Now Makima. Poked away from him by Aubin. Perks fresh off the bench, able to work it back to Colton. Now Suffredini back for Josh Colton. Turned it over in the neutral zone, but it came right to him. So he finds Lambden. He dumps it in. 3 minutes gone in period number 3. Prowlers still trailing by 2 as McGill Diaz wraps it around. Parsons chopped at it. It's gloved down by Chartrand. Now Dan Chartrand goes off the boards towards Foley. Taken away by Milam though. Conway couldn't force it to the middle of the ice. Now Stoya up to Minnie. Chartrand gets the red line, and he dumps it in, heads after it himself. Milam gets there with him. Foley digs the puck loose. Foley tried to center, came right to Conway. And now Inger sent it on net, saved by Tolyu. The rebound's there, and Tolyu with another save on Scott Kowash. Prowlers have numbers breaking the other way. It's Devaney, couldn't dangle around McGill Diaz. Johnson steps in, absorbs a hit from Kowash. Milam took the puck. Chartrand digging away, finds Johnson. Johnson looking for Devaney. Puck ends up in the crease, and Scott covers it up, and then Alex Johnson ends up in the crease. He's back to his feet. 15:48 to go in the third period. Prowlers will have an offensive zone face-off, and Torrey McLean has been let loose from the penalty box. McLean will step onto the ice and join the rest of his teammates. Some barking between the benches, Koash and Johnson going at it. They both take a seat. Rockers only have 4 on the ice. Counting's a little bit tough down there in Fraser, apparently, as Tommy Cardinal steps out to make it 5 even. Stoya dangles his way through a phone booth, and he shot it on net. Puck rides out of play. I think Scott got a piece of it. And Matt Stoya just dangled through 3 Rockers to get that opportunity. You know, he's got good hands. He's got a great shot. He showed off the one-timer in the first period for the only Prowlers goal tonight. Rotundi rims it around. Schumacher and Gaudette get there together. Here's Merritt. Continuing it along. Hainzel in deep, trying to make a play on that puck. Rocker's able to get it out. McLean put a hit on Cardinal, but that puck hit Torrey McLean as he was trying to get out of the zone, so offside called against the Prowlers. 15:22 to go in period number 3. Face-off will be just outside the Rockers' end. Actually, they'll put it at center. Tied up there and knocked back towards Parsons. Parsons goes D to D to Henning. Up the boards. It's Jay. Continues it along for Foley. Dumps it off the back wall. Gets it himself. Put it right through the crease. Now Parsons winds and fires. And Scott made the save. And that one hit the netting. So they whistle it down with 15:04 to go in the third period. Another good start to a period for the Prowlers. They've gotten a few good chances on these last couple of shifts. Of course, that's what happened in the beginning of the second period before the Rockers were able to take advantage of some miscues and go back down the other way. Chartrand just sent it wide. Now Chartrand takes the puck in the corner, but he fanned on the pass. Lambden pulls it out. Stoya right off of Makima's stick. Stoya playing defense on this shift, it looks like, with Brian Parsons. Prowlers did dress 7 defensemen tonight and 9 forwards. Lambden gets it in. Mini curls back, and he gives to Chartrand. Across it comes. Albin with an outside try. Wouldn't go as he missed the net. Karam's all the way back to Prowler territory. Here's Perks. Tried to suss it to the middle of the ice. He hit Gino Mini. Prowler's working a counterattack. It's Albin again. 1-on-2. And now he's surrounded. Sends the puck in as he's knocked down. Johnson tried to send it on net from a sharp angle. It ends up coming all the way back to Tolyu, who leaves it for Gino Mini. Under 14 minutes to play in the third period. That one deflects into Rocker territory. McGill Diaz curling away from Graham. Now Nick McGill Diaz gets through a few Prowlers. He's still on the puck. McGill Diaz, a couple of moves, just couldn't reach it to make the last pass. Rockers keep it in. Schumacher tried to give it up. It's Koash. Now bouncing around the slot. Inger turns it to Koash. Glove save by Tolyu. He will hang on for a face-off, and we will take a timeout with 13:23 to go in the third period, and the Prowlers still with a 2-goal deficit. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube channel.
I've worked at Pioneer and now Corteva for 36 years. It goes by very quickly.
This is a pretty noble profession where you're giving back to humanity.
Curiosity is so important. I learn something new every day.
What's that next challenge that may occur for farmers? You do really feel like you've got an impact on what's coming.
I can see how we're making things better.
And we have the best solutions for our farmers. And I think we're here to feed and fuel the world. I'm proud to be part of that culture, and I'm proud to be part of the company.
Defensive zone face-off coming for the Prowlers with 13:23 to go in the third period. And they need 2 goals to take the lead, or at least tie it up, and at least get themselves a point. In the 15th battle of I-94 this season. Again, both teams with 7 wins, although the Prowlers have been better at Big Boy Arena than they have been here at McMorran Place this season. Faceoff comes to the near side boards. Stoya works it around to Schumacher. Off the boards finds McLean. Couldn't send Merritt through, so it comes back to Schumacher. Now Stoya again. This time he's got Sam Merritt. Feeds McLean. Knocked off his stick. Merritt tips it further. Adam Hainsel in there to cut things off. Try to work it out in front. Taken away by Koash. Now McLean took a hit. Comes all the way back to Prowler territory. Icing waved off, so the Rockers are going to be able to get a change in. Here's Chartrand. Over the blue line, steps in, fires, saved by Scott. And he'll hang on for a whistle. 12:35 to go in the third period. Prowlers with an offensive zone faceoff. They send the top line back out there. As Braden Aubin will take the draw with Brad Ryder after another good save from Blake Scott, his 32nd of the night. And Aubin sent out of the faceoff, so Matt Graham, another natural center, will take it. Devaney off the draw, couldn't pull the trigger on the backhand. He catches up to it, finds Graham below the goal line. Henning pinching in. Dustin Henning trying to send it to the middle of the ice. It comes out to Gaudette. Gaudette dumps it deep. Roman Gaudette has lost a glove. Tommy Cardinal rims it back around. Gaudette scoops up his glove and he throws a hit on Aubin. Now a hand pass is being indicated by the referee, so that will stop play with under 12 to go in period number 3. Evan Foley's line out there for the Prowlers. He'll take the face-off with Tim Perks. Tied up there in the offensive zone, and now Chartrand pulls it out. It comes right back to Prowler or Rocker territory. Now Minnie. Glove down by Lambden. Gino Minnie tries the other side. Johnson trying to work it up the boards. Here's Chartrand, sauces it on for Jay. Has Minnie with him, he'll give it there. Gino Minnie, power move, and he couldn't get a shot on net. Minnie again turned it towards the cage, hit Colton with the shot. Now Perks just backhands it to center. Jay takes it away. Chartrand wrists it towards Jay, backhander, and Scott able to squeeze it off and hang on for a whistle. 11:09 to go, third period. Another good chance for the Prowlers and another answer from Blake Scott. Koash and Merritt in on the draw. Merritt wins it back to Stoya. Stoya turned it on net through traffic. That one went wide. Chop back to the line. Schumacher keeps it in. Now Koash couldn't make a play on it. Comes to Inger, and he will be able to skate it out. Backhands it up the boards to Conway. Declan Conway curls back to the point. It comes D to D. Milam. His shot hit traffic on the way through. Milam has it again at center. 10.5 to go, third period. Hainzel muscles off Inger. McLean comes in to take the puck. McLean up to Devaney. He finds Albin. Braden Albin works to the backhand, sets it towards the net, and Scott dives out to cover it up for a whistle. 10:15 to go, third period. And once again, an offensive zone faceoff for the Prowlers, who have taken 7 of the game's last 8 shots, but they have not been able to solve Blake Scott since the first period. Stoya put it on net, got blocked up through traffic. Now Albin was tied up in front. Stoya has it, wrist shot, blocked on the way through, and Devaney just couldn't get to the rebound. Devaney to Graham in front. Albin trying to kick it up to his stick. Gets it to the point. Parsons D to D. Stoya back to Parsons. Over to Albin. And he misfired on that one. It went wide. Comes all the way back to Prowler territory. Icing waved off. Minnie quick up to Graham. Rockers were in the midst of a change. Graham tried to chop it on net. Comes over to the near side. Ryder took a hit from Foley. And now Johnson gives it over to Minnie. That one deflects out of play into the crowd. A souvenir for a young fan with 9:21 to go in the third period, and we will take a timeout. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube channel.
Adventures await you at the award-winning DoubleTree by Hilton Port Huron. Experience the breathtaking view of sailboats and freighters, framed against the background of the impressive Blue Water Bridge, all from the comfort of your elegant guest room balcony. Planning a wedding? The DoubleTree by Hilton has the perfect setting to celebrate a marriage with its wonderful landscaping and beautiful reception area. So whether it's a romantic getaway, a family vacation, or a company outing, sweeten it with a view to remember at the DoubleTree by Hilton, Port Huron.
.921 to go, third period. Still a 2-goal deficit for the Prowlers against the Motor City Rockers here at home. A face-off will come outside of Prowlers territory after that puck was chopped out of play just before the stoppage. The Evan Foley's line going up against Tim Perk's line. Foley able to win that face-off. Schumacher whacks it to Johnson, who rims it in. Jay down to Foley. Couldn't send it out in front. Schumacher gloves it down at the line. Fires it on net. That might have hit the side of the cage. Now Suffredini back around this side. Johnson in on the forecheck. Gets to that puck first. Foley works it out to Jay. Wrist shot. Stopped by Scott. And he'll hang on to the rebound. Now Johnson and Suffredini getting into it a little bit. Now Kay Lambden coming to join the party. They're heading over to the penalty circle, and Alex Johnson is getting an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. So Alex Johnson will be heading to the penalty box. He's unsure what he did. And a huge chance for Motor City to, if anything, just knock 2 minutes off the clock. And at most, the Rockers could extend this lead to 3 and really put it out of reach. Two-a-side scrum on the boards. Again, the 2 minutes for unsportsmanlike conduct against Alex Johnson. Puck still sits there on the wall, and Albin able to pull it out. Only momentarily. This time Albin whacks at it, but stays in. That killed 25 seconds of the power play. Gino Mini will kill some more time, sending that puck all the way down to Blake Scott. Suffredini through center. Backhands it on, catches up to himself. Now Graham finds it, played it off of, I think, his own man Henning. Comes right to Jay. And Dalton Jay just trying to waste as much time as he can. Gets it back to Henning, who puts it down on Scott. Jay gets there, takes it from Miguel Diaz. He's knocked down. A penalty coming against the Rockers. And we'll have 4-on-4 action. Great play there by Dalton Jay, taking the puck and drawing the penalty. And the Prowlers will have a power play in 59 seconds after this 4-on-4 stretch. They send out Albin, Merritt, Parsons, and Stoya for the 4-on-4 to go up against Ryder, Makima, Mylam, and Mike Wynn. Albin able to win the faceoff back from Ryder. Comes to Stoya, trying to load up the wrist shot. He took it, but Wynn got a stick on it. Now Albin leaves for Stoya. This shot blocked. Comes out of the zone, back to Prowler territory. Merritt on the puck, all across to Albin. Now Stoya in front, looking for Merritt off his stick. 2-on-1 developing for Motor City. Makima towards Ryder. The pass was behind him, and Albin was able to knock it away. Braden Albin slowing things down. He'll give it to Stoya and go off for a change. 10 seconds until this becomes a Prowlers power play, as Matt Graham works it up the ice. Here's Graham below the goal line, try to send it out in front. And now it's a Prowlers power play. Graham across towards Schumacher. One kicks to the corner. Graham. Head up, tried to feed the slot. Mini kept that puck in. One-timer score! Alex Johnson with the blast. Prowlers within one. Alex Johnson steps out of the penalty box, joins the power play, and puts an absolute howitzer past Blake Scott for his 11th goal of the season and 45th point of the campaign. That was a rocket. 2 power play goals for the Prowlers in this game. And 6:36 still to go in the third period. Plenty of time to tie things up. Brian Parsons behind his own cage. Now taken back by Landon in the offensive zone. But Stoya came in to challenge. Henning hustling after that puck. Now McLean comes back to Henning. Gino Mini and Matt Graham pick up the assist on Alex Johnson's 11th of the year. That one chopped out of play. So the offensive zone faceoff coming for the Prowlers with under 6 to go in this third period. Evan Foley's line out there for the Prowlers for this draw. Alex Johnson setting up at left point. Most recent goal scorer. Second power play goal for the Prowlers this evening, as Johnson just sent that one wide. Schumacher chopped at that puck, glove down. Now Conway back at center, sent back in by Schumacher. Prowlers touch up and they head in on the forecheck. Rotundi plays it over to Wynn. Glove down at center by Schumacher. Well, that did hit his glove, and then Chartrand played it. There probably should have been a whistle there, but Prowlers get away with that one. Chartrand on the steal, backhands it out in front. Jay just couldn't reach it. Now Schumacher, though, keeps play alive. Comes all the way across. Conway, the only one there. Inger gets in to the backhand. Tolyu hangs on for a whistle. He hasn't been too busy this period, but he's able to stop that sharp angle shot with 5:04 to go in the third period. Braden Albin getting set to slide in with Brad Ryder. Adam Hainsel around the net, up to Devaney, on for Graham. Has Albin joining him. Graham just floats it past the net. Out high Devaney, had it poked away from him. Adam Hainsel on the back check. Now Cardinal, but the play offside as Tommy Cardinal was looking to go towards the net. 4:46 to go, third period. Alex Johnson's power play goal has made this a one-goal game. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube channel. Good evening, everybody. Will Wiggleman here with you on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. Freeborn cutting to the net. Save, rebound, score!
Every goal,
Back to Jay. Wrist shot, he scores!
every save,
Going the other way for Pandria. Saved by Hoffman. The rebound. Another one.
every hit,
Good hip check.
every
Fires and he scores!
single
Michael Haskins, cut pad, heading with another good shot. And then a left. Oh, boy.
game.
Cardinal poked away by Hoffman. And the Prowlers win it.
The Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. Subscribe now.
We invite you to tune in to our next broadcast on April Fool's Day, tomorrow, when the Prowlers visit the Motor City Rockers. Puck drop is scheduled for 6 p.m., and the pregame show starts at 5:45. It's all right here on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. Again, that is a 6 p.m. puck drop down in Fraser. That will be the 16th and final Battle of I-94 game this season. A long, grueling series between these two teams. 16 games, the most matchups between two teams in the FPHL this season, and why not? They're the two closest teams in the FPHL. Just a 45-minute drive down the road from arena to arena. Devaney dumps it in. Delayed offsides. I don't think Matt Graham knew it. He was in on the forecheck just a step too soon. So that one's whistled down, and play will be stopped and come back outside of the Rockers zone. 4.5 to go, third period. Faceoff will actually come to center ice. Ryder and Foley tie up on the draw. It comes back to Miguel Diaz. Miguel Diaz to Milam. And now Ryder through center. He backhands it around. Tolyu leaves it there for Johnson. Rims it up the boards. Finds Miguel Diaz. His shot towards the net. Cardinal tipped it wide. Perks looking for Cardinal stick again. Now Tim Perks pulls it out. Head up. Gives to Cardinal, blocked a little bit painfully there by Evan Foley. He's slow to get up. Chartrand trying to chop it out. And as Dalton Jay scoops up that puck, they'll blow the whistle for Evan Foley, who is not getting up. I don't think he was ready for that shot to come through. And it looked like it hit him in the foot. Sounded like it caught the boot of his skate pretty solidly. And Evan Foley down in pain with Prowlers trainer Bridget Smith out there to tend to him. And Foley back to his feet. He will head to the Prowlers bench. That's a good sign that maybe it's just a stinger from a blocked shot, but just a particularly rough one. As Evan Foley limps back to the bench. We'll have a face-off to Tallew's right. It looks like Albin in to take the face-off. He's out there with Devaney and Merritt. Stoya flips it all the way out. Merritt catches it. He scores! How about that face-off play? Prowlers tie it up. That's how you draw it up. The clean face-off win from Braden Albin. I believe that will be his first pro assist. And then the perfect flip from Matt Stoya and the speed of Sam Merritt. Certainly the fastest guy on this Prowlers team. Catches up to that puck. He beats Blake Scott over the glove. We are knotted up at 3 with 3:39 to go in the third. Lots of life in McMorran Place now. Minnie put it back on, in and out of the glove of Scott. Taken out by Suffredini. His pass out of the reach of its intended target. They stop it at the line, offsides against the Rockers. Right now, the only assist being given to Matt Stoya, but I believe Braden Albin should be given one for winning that face-off. And here's Sam Merritt back out there. Minnie works it up the boards, comes back to Prowler ice. Adam Hainsel sent it off of Merritt and in. 3 minutes to go, third period of a 3-3 hockey game. Chartrand cycles it deep. Merritt and Wynn on it. And now back out at center, it's Chartrand sending it in. Inger left it there for Koash. Torrey McLean head up as he goes around his own net. Gives to Matt Graham. Graham lost the handle at center. Ryder trying to turn it back the other way. Here's Ryder looking for Cardinal. And then Cardinal taken in hard into the wall by Gino Minnie. Minnie and Gaudette come together behind the net. Albin up the boards. He gets it out. 2:10 to go, third period. Gaudette turns it up to Cardinal. Turned over at center. Here's Albin. Has Jay with him. Albin takes the shot off the side of the cage. And I'm sure it looked like from that far side that puck may have been in. If you're sitting, they were sitting over there in the even-numbered sections here at McMorran Place, just that angle looked like the puck may have been in, but it hit the side of the net. Puck rolling all the way down, icing waved off, so the Rockers get a change in. It's Johnson. Up to Joe Devaney. He finds Chartrand through center. Miguel Diaz takes that puck in his offensive end. The arms go up as Chartrand took down Miguel Diaz. A late power play coming for Motor City with 1:26 to go in the third period. As it didn't look like there was a call coming initially, but as soon as Chartrand put his arms up, the call came, and now Evan Foley is being escorted to the Prowlers dressing room, so it looks like we won't see him again tonight. He is struggling, limping down the tunnel. That's a big loss for the Prowlers. Foley has been great on faceoffs tonight. And just as they get set for the faceoff, we have a timeout for our head coach, Gordy Brown, and the Motor City Rockers. Boy, this has been a great game here at McMorran Place. It started in the first period with the teams trading power play goals, Brad Ryder and Matt Stoya. And then the second, Tommy Cardinal and Brad Ryder got Motor City up 3-1. But here in the third period, 2 goals in less than 3 minutes from Alex Johnson and Sam Merritt have tied things up for the Prowlers. And that's where we sit 3-3 with 1:26 to go in the third period. Prowlers up on shots 14-5 in this third period, 42-30 for the game. And 3 shots getting past each respective goaltender. But this is a huge penalty kill for the Prowlers, the biggest certainly of the game. They killed off a few while down by 2 goals to allow them to get to this position. Now they'll have to kill off another one as Merritt with a diving poke, able to get it out of the zone. Suffredini sauces it on for Koash. Scott Koash rims it around. Knocked down there. Now Koash trying to control the bouncing puck. He gets it to the point to Colton. Final minute of play, third period. Colton winds and fires. It's blocked on the way through. Suffredini turns it on net. Tolyu with the save with the pad. He did not see that puck come off the stick. He was a little bit late getting down, but he's still able to make the save. They don't ask how. Colton's shot deflected and stopped by Tolyu. They don't ask how, they ask how many, as Koash right into the glove of Brian Tolyu, and he gets an ovation from the McMorran faithful. 30.9 seconds to go in the third period. And a very nervous Dan Chartrand sitting in the Prowlers penalty box. Graham wins the faceoff back cleanly. Schumacher, with all kinds of space, wrists it down the ice. 20 seconds to go in the period. 54 seconds on Chartrand's penalty as Milam chips it in. Minnie claps it around, got through, and all the way down to Rocker territory. One last rush for Motor City. 5 seconds to go. Ryder lost the puck. He regains it, tries to turn it on net, knocked down, and we will head to overtime. For the third time in this series, the Prowlers and the Rockers go beyond regulation, and we will give you all the information on that when we come back. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers Hockey on the Prowlers YouTube channel. Good evening, everybody. Will Wiggleman here with you on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. Freeborn cutting to the net. Save, rebound, score!
Every goal,
Back to Jay. Wrist shot, he scores!
every save,
Going the other way for Pandria. Saved by Hoffman, the rebound. Another one.
every hit,
Good hip check.
every
Fires, and he scores!
single
Michael Haskins, cut pad, heading with another good shot, and then a left. Oh, boy.
game.
Cardinal poked away by Hoffman, and the Prowlers win it.
The Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. Subscribe now.
We have bonus hockey here at McMorran Place and on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel as the Rockers and the Prowlers head to overtime for the third time this season. You see the records in games that have ended in overtime. That's important to note. Those are games that have ended in OT. Prowlers 0-3 in games that have ended in overtime, including a loss to these Rockers on November 5th. Meanwhile, Motor City 2-5 when games end in overtime. Again, it's still a Motor City power play for 33 seconds. They send out Ryder, Perks, Milam, and Miguel Diaz. It will be a 4-on-3 man advantage. Prowlers starting with Merritt, Schumacher, and we'll see who the third is, as Brian Tollieu and Blake Scott have just received word that they have to switch sides. It'll be Merritt, Albin, and Schumacher. So 2 forwards, 1 defenseman for the Prowlers on this 4-on-3 penalty kill. 5 minutes up on the clock. Overtime is underway. Here's Miguel Diaz to Ryder. Walks, gives over to Milam. Has had an OT goal last weekend. Ryder, the one-time blast. It bounced around down there and goes behind the net. Miguel Diaz. Up high. Wines gives to Milam. His turn to walk the line. Walks in. Schumacher got his stick in there to disrupt. Chartrand set to come out. Stopped by Tollieu. The rebound also stopped. We're at 4-on-4 as Chartrand steps out of the box. So the Prowlers kill off the penalty. And we'll be at 4-on-4 until the next whistle. Chartrand took a hit there from Milam. Prowlers have 3 forwards on the ice. Now Sam Merritt trying to spring Albin. Pass was too far ahead of him. Somebody was calling for too many men on the ice, not sure which bench it was. But either way, here's Matt Graham. Graham stops up, gives to the point. Johnson fires, knocked down in front, and Koash sweeps it to the boards. Colton around to Suffredini. 3:39 to go in overtime. As Josh Colton sends it up to Inger, Koash slaps it in. Johnson gets there ahead of Connor Inger. Now Dalton Jay starts a rush. Johnson joining the play. Gives to Graham, knocked off his stick by Suffredini. Ian Parsons chasing after it. Brian Parsons lost the puck. Suffredini, they score. It's Scott Koash. After Parsons tied up Suffredini, Scott Koash finds the loose puck and roofs it. And Motor City ends up getting the victory 4-3 in overtime. Scott Koash's team-high 35th goal of the season ends it, and the Prowlers' 2-goal comeback in the third period only nets them a single point in the standings. A tough one to swallow for the Prowlers. They killed off the power play at the beginning of overtime, but then Scott Koash with the OT winner. 3:11 was left in the overtime period. Before we get into the post-game show, another reminder, tune into our next broadcast tomorrow from Big Boy Arena when the Prowlers and the Rockers do it again. Puck drop is at 6 p.m. right here on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. And the 1,000-yard stairs from the Prowlers at center ice. A game that they got all the momentum back in the third period, got themselves back in the game, but they were unable to finish it in overtime. And they'll go to Motor City tomorrow night to try to tie the Battle of I-94 to end the season, to end the season series. Let's take a look around the FPHL. The Binghamton Black Bears defeated the Elmira Mammoth 6-2 tonight in Binghamton. Columbus River Dragons have a 3-1 lead on the Watertown Wolves. That one late in the third in Watertown. Danbury Hat-Tricks holding on to a 4-0 lead on the Delaware Thunder. That one also late in the third period. Danbury, I mentioned it all 3 times we've looked at the score. Danbury with a 54-17 shots advantage now. Finally, down in Carolina, it's the Thunderbirds with a 3-2 lead on the Mississippi Seawolves late in the third period. Well, teams traded power play goals in the first, and then Prowlers gave up 2 in the second. Saw the Rockers take that 2-goal lead. Goals from Tommy Cardinal and then Brad Ryder's second of the game. And then Alex Johnson and Sam Merritt tied it late in the third period. And it's Scott Koash with his only point of the game-winning goal. And he is the hero. The second overtime goal he scored against the Prowlers this season. And Port Huron still without an overtime winner this season. They do have a couple of shootout victories, but none in the 5-minute extra session. 3 stars from tonight's game. Matt Stoya, the third star, with a goal and an assist. Alex Johnson, the second star, also with a goal and an assist. And the first star, Scott Koash, with a goal, although I feel like Brad Ryder may have been shorted there. He had a couple of goals for Motor City in regulation. But all 3 of those guys, Johnson and Stoya, the only 2 Prowlers with multiple points, and then Ryder, the only Rocker with multiple points with his 2 goals. But that's how this one ends. 4-3 Rockers in overtime. We will see you tomorrow night at Big Boy Arena in the 16th and final edition of the Battle of I-94, and we'll have it here for you on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. Again, puck drop is at 6 p.m. at Big Boy Arena down in Fraser. But for now, I'm Will Wiggleman. Thanks so much for tuning in tonight, and we'll see you tomorrow on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel.